to Career Talk. My name is Kayla Miller, and today we are here with Mike Bales. How are you this morning?
Great, how are you?
I'm good. So you're the safety director and the operations director for your company. So can you tell me a little bit more about what you do?
Hopefully I don't fill up your time slot here, but so on the safety end, basically I manage all aspects of risk for our guys in the field, for Cornerstone Construction, as far as workman's comp, auto accidents, and general liability type injuries, damaged property while we're erecting buildings and that kind of stuff. So basically I'm looking at where companies losing money in those areas of loss and trying to develop programs to try and shore up those gaps, reduce that amount of losses to the company. So that's on the safety end. On the operations side, that's a lot harder to describe. I'm kind of a field extension of a project manager. Anything related with managing people on the field, pre-mobilizing jobs, going to meetings, reviewing plan sets, that kind of stuff, on the front end, and more field management type stuff as far as the operations director role goes. And then I kind of get into really whatever else the owner tells me to do. I do some IT stuff, some HR stuff, and different areas like that. So it's kind of nice for me because it's always changing. It's never the same thing. It's kind of the best of both worlds, being out in the field, watching guys work, and then also being in the office and getting stuff done there too. So,
did you need any special degree or training to get where you are?
Well, so initially I got into a safety-related role without a degree. But I realized shortly after I was there that the only way I was going to go anywhere in that career path was to go back to school. So I did end up going back and getting a 4-year degree in occupational safety and fire science engineering, actually.
So what kind of career path did you take to get to where you are?
So I started off originally on my tools, working in the field. I did not masonry specific, which is what Cornerstone does. I had more of a pipe background and more of an industrial construction background. But what's nice about safety is that career field is kind of transferable across multiple industries. So just because I have a degree in safety and I'm working for a masonry company doesn't gridlock me to only working with masonry. I can go to any mechanical trades and construction. I could get into general industry and work at a factory or a plant facility, something like that. So,
what are you specifically working on in this stadium?
At this project here?
Yeah.
So right now, specifically, we're building pier walls that will be supporting big brick archways. So when you come in and see the face of the stadium, when it's all said and done, it'll have huge sweeping archways at the grand entrance. It'll be pretty cool looking. So right now we're laying up the structural block that's going to support those archways. We'll be installing those next week. But Cornerstone in general, we do all vertical masonry work. So block, brick, stone, veneer, the lipstick on the outside of the building that makes it look pretty. We do all that kind of stuff. We typically don't get into any flat work, kind of concrete work or finishing or anything like that. So,
have you ever worked on a stadium before?
Actually, with another company before Cornerstone, I was part of the Milwaukee Bucks Arena in Milwaukee, so that was a pretty cool experience.
If someone was interested in what you do, what would you say to them to get them started?
I would say schooling is, at this point in the game, there's so many people starting to filter into safety, and obviously when you get into your engineering and project management trades and construction, there's a lot of people out there, so you need a degree anymore to get your foot in the door with a company. But my opinion, even more than that, is the experience in the field. So I would recommend anybody going to school for a degree spend their summers actually working in construction and getting an understanding of the trades that way too. Maybe take an apprenticeship through the union and get rolled in. That's something you could leave and come back to in between your schooling. That would be my recommendation to anybody wanting to get into what I'm doing.
For you, what would a typical day be looking like?
So a typical day for me would be, the first part of the day would be going to different job sites. I'm on every job that Cornerstone has at least once a week. So a typical day would be going to some job sites, depending on where their location are, and doing a safety audit, making sure that all the safety practices and policies are actually being implemented in the field. looking for areas where guys might have missed something, or we have risks that wasn't identified that we can clean up and make sure we take care of. From there, I usually put together a formal audit on an iPad or computer and email that out to the foreman and the owner of the company so they can kind of see what's going on and have a good pulse on the field. And then I have a lot of administrative tasks associated with what I do, so I typically spend the last 2, 3, 4 hours a day doing my administrative tasks. So a lot of road time driving around, going to different jobs. We service an area about an hour-and-a-half radius around Janesville. So we could be in the Dells building a school we did last winter, and I'm driving to that job site. Or we have a job in Oconomowoc we're doing. That's me driving over towards Milwaukee and hitting those jobs. So a lot of road time for what I'm doing on top of that. So
yeah. How long have you been a safety and operations director? And over that time, how has it changed?
So I've been in safety specifically, I think I started in 2008. So I'm at 12 and a half years, somewhere around there in safety. Mm-hmm. The operations side of what I'm doing, really that function is really amplified since I've been at Cornerstone the last 2.5 years or so. Other companies I was directly hired just for safety, where at Cornerstone I took on a bigger role than just a safety role with the company. So that's one way that me specifically, my position has changed. Just in general with this type of position, I'd say there was a lot of paperwork when I first started. There's still quite a bit of paperwork, but there's a pretty strong push to go electronic with a lot of what we're doing. And honestly, one kind of nice takeaway from COVID, if you got to find some positive in everything, Zoom meetings are pretty nice because it eliminates travel time. If I have a meeting in Milwaukee at 10 o'clock, almost my whole half day is ruined driving out there, going to the meeting and coming back. And not ruined might not be the right word, but you know what I mean. It's a lot of excess time that you eliminate doing a Zoom meeting, exactly. So that has been helpful.
So it's really exciting to see everything that you've been building and everything how far the stadium has come. So are you excited to go to a game?
Yeah, absolutely. And to kind of expand a little bit on your question, I think in general, that's for me, one of the biggest draws to construction is you get into all these really unique projects, and like me being part of the Buck Stadium, part of Riverbend Stadium down here. This is a cool project. I mean, this is really nice for Beloit to have, and it will be a pretty cool staple for people to come to, and I'm absolutely going to bring my wife and kids down here and go to a game.
Thank you for taking time to talk to us today.
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is pretty cool what you guys are putting on here, so I'm glad to be part of it.
Thank you guys for watching. If you have any other questions about construction, you can contact Cornerstone or CareerTalk. There we go.
You did great.